The Constitution will not be saved in Washington. 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 The Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. For those of you who don't know about the anti-Mason movement in 1826 because of William Morgan, as Mormons, you'd think you'd want to know about this story. It was when an attack on America was thwarted by a small group in Canandaigua, New York. To give you a quick background, Captain William Morgan was a captain in the War of 1812 under General Andrew Jackson, who became president. He had found out information about a plot to take over America. He was a York Rites Mason, so the Wikipedia page saying he's an anti-Mason is incorrect. He was not anti-Mason. He was warning about a Masonic threat to America of the Scottish Rites. He went to Canandaigua because there was a lodge of the York Rites in Canandaigua where there was a Master Mason. William Morgan informed this Master Mason in Canandaigua, New York, which, by the way, Mormons, is directly south from Palmyra and the Joseph Smith farm. Now remember, in 1826, Joseph is claiming that he is speaking with he always originally said Nephi. It is the Brighamite Church, and I use Brighamite because there were several different Mormon breakoffs after Joseph was assassinated, of whom we now call Moroni, and go around the world telling it's Moroni, of whom the Moroni trumpet is on the temples across the world, except for a few places. And so Joseph Smith was supposedly meeting and talking about the future of America, the future of things to come, and about the supposed treasure plates in Egyptian. If you remember your Book of Mormon, it says that we're supposed to be after the learning of the Jews, but the language of the Egyptians. Right there in the beginning of your Book of Mormon. That's the manner in which the Book of Mormon was written. That is the manner in which our church is supposed to be. We are not Christian. And so, what happened in Canandaigua, New York, saved America that year. As a news reporter had vilified the incident to cause fear and panic in the colonies about the disappearance of William Morgan and about how his books were not going to get published, as the Batavian Press published a book with his name, but it had nothing to do with anti-Masonry and a threat to America. They were just trying to recover their losses. And so if you're going, well, I haven't made the connection yet. And so, who is this Master Mason at the Canandaigua Lodge who is instrumental in saving America? from the tip of William Morgan. Joseph Smith Sr., guys. Wouldn't you have liked to have known that? Why is the church keeping that a secret? Why is the church not telling us that the father, who was the first patriarch of the church to Joseph Smith Jr., because he's senior, why are they not telling us this? That the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the true patriotic religion of America. That we defended America from an attack by a treasonous, traitor, terrorist organization. Why are they keeping it a secret from us? You're getting your ballots starting today in the mail. This is important to understand for today, because the Book of Mormon, in the very first chapter as well, gives us the date for the latter days. We're named Latter-day Saints. Shouldn't this be the latter days? Shouldn't there be signs in the heavens to indicate this is it? This is the latter days. Yes. Yes, it is. And yes, there have been. It talks about in the reign of the first year of King Zedekiah, Lehi has a dream in which he sees the sign of the Son of Man. You can see it in Isaiah, you can see it in Revelation. And Matthew sort of splits it up. I'm not going to go over Matthew again and the horrors that he presents, the confusion he causes. It is a precise astronomical date that is given to us. If you know anything about astronomy, sunrise and sunset are at specific times, and they differ throughout the year. Remember the longest day of the year, the shortest day of the year? Well, this is known in advance by astronomers. They know the precise hour and day. See, Matthew totally screws us up. But even down to the second. And they can forecast it into the future. Far, far into the future. And they know far, far back into the past. That's how good we are at astronomy. So too were the ancients. So too did they give us a precise date, and it's right there in the Book of Mormon in the first chapter. Because this is a symbolism, metaphor, code, whatever you want to call it, for the threat to America. Zedekiah was a puppet king of Babylon. And the warning that is given in the Book of Mormon is that there will be a king by the kingmen. Remember them? Captain Moroni, in defense of our lives, our liberties, our homes, our families, etc. This is that moment right here. I'm waving the title of liberty for you. This is voting time. This is the time to stand up and defend America from the threat to take it over and return it to a monarchy that was attempted in 1826. The Book of Mormon calls him King Jacob. That the kingmen who originated from Korihor, who Nehor then formed the Order of Nehors based upon Korihor. And then that became Kishkumen, and then named after Gadianton for the Gadianton band of robbers. In Helaman, chapter 6, it says that they had secret words and secret signs. Have I even told you that it's Joseph Smith Sr.? Yes, I did. Those secret signs and secret codes are known to us today. We now know them. The KKK used the code America First. Yes, just like the credit union here in Utah. I saw a bus sign advertising for Utah First. This is the white supremacist code that originated from the KKK. This is the threat we're in. That's why a vote for Trump by a Mormon is a vote of treason. An anti-Book of Mormon attack. The Book of Mormon was written to warn America. They lost their lives to bring forth the Book of Mormon. And you vote for Trump? Seriously, you're going to vote for Trump. You'd rather be Russian than save America and the Constitution. Because remember, Joseph Smith said the Constitution would be on the brink of destruction, and it was going to be up to us to save it. This is that moment where Utah, where Mormons can rise up and say, I will not have this government overthrown by the enemy. I will not be a traitor to America. This is a time for patriots. True patriots. Not those who claim to be patriots in code and then attack American citizens. Why didn't the church tell us? Because it gets worse. Now go to Heber C. Kimball in Wikipedia under Masonry. Heber C. Kimball, according to the Kimball family, as they're the ones who released the information for that section, they claim that their ancestor, Heber C. Kimball, was a Master Mason himself in 1823. They don't say Master Mason. He says he advanced 3 levels in 1 year. Well, that makes him a Master Mason. He has his own lodge. If he keeps rising in rank, a higher ranking person in that lodge, rite, Freemason rite, would come to him. If he was not given a Master Mason lodge, he would need to go to somebody else who is a Master Mason. And yet he tells us that he goes to Canandaigua. Why isn't the church telling us that he had met Joseph Smith Sr. in 1826? Or not 26, 24. Why? Why are they keeping this a secret from us? Isn't this awesome? Heber C. Kimball knew Joseph Smith Sr. and vice versa, because it says Joseph Smith Sr. approved his advancement 4 extra levels. What? Well, wow, they knew each other. Why then did Heber C. Kimball not join the organization? Why was he not brought in the beginning? Why is he brought in 3 years later? I guess that was Brigham Young, and Heber C. Kimball was the one who brought him in. But he didn't join in the beginning of the church. What's going on? Why is the church covering up this information? Why are they not telling us the connection between these guys? The answer is obvious. The threat to America was by the Illuminati, formed on 1st of May 1776 by Johann Adam Weishaupt. They infiltrated the Scottish Rites Lodge here in America. Their plan was to rise up in the communities, take over government positions, and keep working their way up to take over the whole government so that they can establish a monarch again on the throne of America, overthrowing our Constitution. Captain William Morgan found out about that, informed Joseph Smith Sr. And so, yes, the Book of Mormon is not what we have been led to believe it is. It's much cooler. And so here we are. The sign of the Son of Man occurred 23rd September 2017. A month after the first day of 3 days of darkness, 21st of August 2017, the ancient Egyptian religious New Year, by the way, and yes, Monson's birthday. And in that year came Trump, who is now established as a puppet king of Putin, as we are still under attack by Russia, as they are still promoting misinformation and disinformation through a group called QAnon. It is white supremacy. We have Trump in his debate give a standby order. Stand back and stand by to the Proud Boys. And they responded, saying, we got your message. We're standing by. Then you had Vice President Pence here in Utah give the KKK signal, America first, right here in Utah. The symbol of the Illuminati is the inverted pentagram with an eagle. The Nauvoo Temple was dedicated in 1846, 2 years after Joseph was assassinated. Dedicated on the 1st of May, and contains inverted pentagrams. What the hell is that doing on our temple? Alright, Joseph Smith was conquered. And so, at Temple Square, we have the Eagle Gate with the inverted pentagram right there on State Street, pointing directly to the state capitol. We have on our Salt Lake Temple the inverted pentagram as the keystone symbol of the Illuminati on the arch of the doors where we get our pictures taken when we get sealed there. Do you understand the crisis we are facing? President Oaks gets up and gives a talk condemning the Black Lives Matter protests. They just came out and said, oh, we support Amendment C to remove slavery from Utah Constitution. Excuse me? What is slavery doing in Utah's Constitution in the first place? Joseph Smith ran for president as an abolitionist. Why did the church put slavery in their Constitution? Joseph Smith was an abolitionist. We are supposed to be abolitionists. Why is there slavery on our Utah Constitution? And why wasn't it removed immediately when it was removed from the United States Constitution? There's great fear among women that I don't understand why Mormon women do not understand this fear if they are supporting abortion, anti-abortion. It has nothing to do with properly married women to one man who get pregnant, say on their honeymoon, and then decide to screw over their husband and say, "I'm killing the baby, dear." Do you honestly think that's how it works? No. The majority of women who want an abortion are those who got raped. Those who used protection, contraception, but the contraception failed. As women, do you not understand that having a baby alters the course of your life forever? If you're a 14-year-old girl, do you not see how it would be important to not have your life ruined forever as you now are having a baby? Do you not remember Elizabeth Smart? And you're literally going to side with the white supremacists as they want to hurt you as a woman. Now LGBTQ plus. Drop the plus, guys. The church is very anti-homophobic. Well, they're not anti-homo, they're homophobic as anti-gay. Oaks, especially. I saw yesterday that Oaks was once, and back in 2012, awarded by the Heritage Foundation. Or is it the Eagle Forum? Whatever that group is that Trump went to say, who do you want me to put in as the justice on the Supreme Court? They awarded President Dallin H. Oaks in 2012. He's one of them. That's why his words spew hate. Just like they did in conference as he condemned the Black Lives Matter protests. If you argue with me, you too are a white supremacist. You are an enemy to this nation. If you cannot see, because you're not gaslighting me, I can understand if you've been played as a chump. But those who are this white supremacist threat, oh, they know exactly what they're doing. And they just outright say it. Oh, no, we're not. And then do exactly what they claim they're not. That's what the Republicans are doing in this Senate judiciary hearing. Joseph Smith knew of the weapon that would be used by this King Jacob, and he knew the year in which it would be used. 2020. He knew the virus would be the weapon, not just because it's in the book of Moses, not the book of Moses, the book of Exodus, about Moses and the Exodus, which contains the 3 days of darkness, stars falling from heaven, and a virus. He knew the date in connection with the sign of the Son of Man. 2020. Because we just had a Jewish New Year. We are in that first month of the Exodus. The 18th, which is this Sunday, is the last day of the first month of the Exodus. And it is 3,333 years from the time that the Jews give the date for the Exodus. Thus, this was the date for the virus. As Passover has already happened. Way back in March or April. Can't remember now. Keeps switching year to year. And then there's the poor. White supremacists want to destroy the poor. So what about Utah? What about the church? How do they handle the poor? Operation Rio Grande. It's a horrible shame on Utah. But let me just give you the numbers. The original Rio Grande shelter had 1,100 beds, and it was not enough, not by any close margin. They then built the 3 shelters, 700 beds total. That's how much they hate the poor. That's white supremacy. The elderly. They don't like the elderly because the elderly drain Social Security. They didn't become filthy rich so that they wouldn't need Social Security. They would have had a retirement nest egg to live on instead. And so they got to get rid of them. Money is more important to these white supremacist terrorists than human life. That's why Trump, Herbert, and Nelson are keeping America, Utah, and the church open, as we are no longer in yellow when we first shut down. We are now in blood red. Deaths are on the rise. New cases are on the rise. We are getting closer to 100,000, which the news would place us in a higher category. And they aren't stopping us. They're blaming us now. They caused it. Now they're blaming you for not being safe. And how do you stay safe during a viral pandemic? You stay home. You don't go to work. You don't go to school. That's how you stay safe. But they're forcing you to go to work. They're forcing you to go to school. And they blame you if you get sick. This is white supremacy. This is the threat of the kingmen. Again, I am raising the title of liberty for you. So, we're over 30 minutes. My videos have all been to this end, to warn you. If you don't heed my warning, then yes, you are to blame. I did not cause this calamity like the church did, like Herbert did, like Trump did. They're the ones to blame for the calamity. But you are to blame if you vote for them. Voting for Spencer Cox is a vote for treason. Voting for Burgess Owens. Sorry, Burgess. You chose financial gain to get yourself out of financial trouble to run for office. It's not how you do it. You don't betray your country. So, we'll leave it there.